Hey everybody, I'm Chris Fafalius, and I'm the producer of Krista Makes a Podcast and the host of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
And I'm Matt Kelly, host of Horror Movie Night and the producer / the head of content for the Geekscape Podcasting Network.
Between the two of us, we have, believe it or not, 25 years of podcasting experience, and we want to help you start your own podcast.
We know podcasting, and we want to share that knowledge with you.
So whether you're new to podcasting or you want some feedback on your currently active podcast, we want to help.
Or perhaps you're just overwhelmed with all of the editing work. Well, we can help you with that also.
You can check out our website at weknowpodcasting.com for more information.
We're excited to help your podcasting dreams become a reality.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer, 'cause it's Christmas. Whoa, oh, it's the best time of the year.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
So,
Yeah,
it's July,
it is July.
and you were like, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
make Matt watch the best fucking horror short of the last decade. Holy shit, this was so good.
Dude, okay, so my experience with Inside Number 9 actually is kind of related to you. It came across my radar as I was listening to, I can't remember if it was still Killer POV or Shockwaves at this point, but Rebecca McKendry brought it up on the show and was talking about, I think it was like around Christmas time, and they were talking about best like Christmas shorts and Christmas episodes of things. And she kept bringing up the Devil at Christmas episode of Inside Number 9, which for those of you who are unfamiliar, Inside Number 9 is kind of like a British Twilight Zone, Outer Limits type deal. I guess you could probably compare it to Black Mirror a little bit.
It's more fun than Black Mirror for sure.
Yeah.
to
Yes,
me.
it is. It is a lot more fun than Black Mirror. This episode specifically is way different than every other episode of Inside
And I had
Number
to do a
9.
lot of Googling to find out. Because, like, the name Inside Number 9 doesn't really tell you anything.
No.
So I'm like, I don't know what this means. And then, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, is it like a studio number 9? And, like, it's like a very meta... Like, I thought it was sketch comedy at first, to be honest. And then I was like, okay, it's a dark comedy anthology series. Okay, got it.
And heavy on the dark.
Yeah, and
especially in this one.
Well, and that's the thing. And then I had to scroll down. I didn't click into the physical episode description, but I clicked into like series 3 where they have like the one sentence descriptions because I wanted to see, it said like, in this specific episode, there's a commentary track. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I wanted to make sure, I was like, is that like a consistent theme on all the shows?
Yeah,
is that like
no,
someone's talking
no.
over top of it? Normally, I mean, we usually suggest this regardless, but
Yeah.
there's no way to talk about why this is so good without completely spoiling every
Exactly.
twist involved. So the first 3 minutes of this episode, hey, we told you it's great. And
Yep.
you should check it out.
It's fantastic. Does not make me cry. I'm assuming it didn't make Matt
No.
cry.
I
And,
got some tears earlier today, but that was because of the crowd.
Yeah.
So,
we'll hit a pause on this one. Go to Amazon Prime. It's through their BritBox subscription. So if you just want to watch this episode specifically, you can get a 7-day trial. And it is well worth that 7-day trial to check this out. But at this point, moving forward, stop listening to us and go watch that episode and then come back, because you need to go into this blind. I went into it blind. I hope Matt went into it as blind as he possibly could.
yeah, I had no clue. I literally, I started looking up a few things about 15 minutes into it just so I could figure out what it had to do with like Inside Number 9 as a whole.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I went in blind. I just wanted everything to wash over me. And I loved it. It's my favorite Krampus story.
There you go. That's our ringing recommendation. So at this point forward, spoilers abound. They're coming.
Okay. So,
All right. Yes.
first and foremost, and I did do a little bit of research after watching. I started this episode and I was like, oh, it's like an old 80s BBC show that Dylan's having me watch. I did some research. First of all, I quickly picked up, oh, this is intentionally shot to look this way.
Yes.
It was shot they exclusively only used equipment from the 70s for this episode to give it that look, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, what is this? I still didn't know. I was like, is this sketch comedy? What is this? Then the director comes in to show the continuity issue.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I like what this is. And what was really making me intrigued was a text message that you had sent prior, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because you were like, this is what we're going to watch. Get ready to feel real fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what made me so interested is that the second that the director's commentary comes in, I'm like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, it's a movie.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So I'm just
safe.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the ride of this weird, poorly made on purpose 70s movie with this director making fun of the actors and everything.
Yep.
And I'm having a blast. I'm enjoying myself. It got so it's telling this tale of there's this family that goes up to this mountain house for Christmas, and there's a painting of Krampus on the window, and Klaus, who he's somehow involved with this.
He's like the housekeeper, or he keeps over the house when people aren't there, and he shows the people around, and basically what we've got this husband and wife, and the husband's mother, who is not a fan of the husband's wife. It is his second wife.
And the son is from the previous wife.
Yes, and the son is from the previous wife. So they're coming up to spend the holidays just to get away. And already there's tension building between the current wife and the mother, the grandmother of the little child. And they see this painting of Krampus on the wall, and what's so funny to me is as I'm rewatching this and they show that painting, I was like, Matt's gonna think this is a fucking Krampus story, and I love it.
Yeah, and I was like, as I'm watching, I'm like, this is the best Krampus story yet.
Yeah,
I was loving it.
Yeah.
So they explain you leave your shoes out.
Yep.
Krampus will put some switches in your shoe if you've been a bad boy. The next day there'll be marks all over your body if you've been a bad boy, and then the third night, Krampus takes you to hell. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And all throughout, we're watching that story unfold. As Matt said, all throughout, we're getting this director commentary, and we're getting it's almost like we're watching a rough cut of the quote-unquote movie.
Yeah, because you're seeing some outtakes and stuff throughout.
Yeah.
It's weird. And that makes sense when you get to the end, but as I was watching, I'm like, this is weird. This is kind of breaking. Why would this be in the movie? You know what I mean? We're watching this play out. Now, first major,
oh my God.
First major chuckle for me, though. Kid wakes up the next morning crying.
Yeah.
There are so many fucking switches inside of his goddamn shoes. It's like a bouquet.
It really is.
One wasn't enough. You kidding me? He's all upset. He's like, I thought I was being a good boy. Now Krampus is here to kill me. Everyone's throwing accusations left and right. I think your wife is doing it because she's a bitch.
Yeah.
I think that the son is sleepwalking and did it to himself, et cetera, et cetera. So the next morning, or the next night, they go to bed, and you see the shadow of Krampus on the wall.
Yeah.
Spooky, scary.
So spooky, scary. And I also want to point out that, during the director commentary, a lot of the things he says make a lot more sense once the reveal is had. Because he comments on the kid. He's like, the kid's not that great of an actor, but it's hard to find a kid to be in a movie of this subject matter. And you're like, oh my God.
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah,
because I know that he mentioned so and so is rushing in this scene because he had another job to get to.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
you know, like there's like little stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he wakes
Dude,
up.
it's so fucked.
The kid wakes up and he's like covered in markings, right?
Yeah.
They don't really explain how that one happened to the kid.
Yeah.
But whatever, we'll just go with it. So Krampus has struck again.
Yeah. 70s horror, like, we're not going to explain anything. It just happened. Spooky, scary, like you said.
So kid's upset. Grandmother's like, let's get him out of the house. You and your wife will just enjoy Christmas together. I'll make sure that he's taken care of because he's terrified to stay in this house now that he's convinced that Krampus is going to come take him to hell.
Yeah.
We also skipped over, important to note that the new wife at one point emptied out a bottle of pills.
Yes. And we
And
don't know why yet.
Yeah, we have no clue why. So, husband and wife are trying to have a nice evening. Wife is pregnant. That's important. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he's like, you've got markings all over your back.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And he's like, but Krampus only comes for children. Why would he come for you? And she's like, I've got a child inside of me.
Yeah.
She's like, quick, check my shoes. And then she also has like a forest of switches.
Fuck ton of switches in her shoes.
And you're just like, oh my God, where is this going? And they go downstairs and she's like, there's something I must tell you about the baby. It's not yours. And just as she says that, and this was a legitimate scare for me, there's a lightning bolt and there's a Krampus face behind her.
Yeah.
Now then the Krampus moves, and whatever element of scary that lightning bolt gave me, it is a shoddy ass Krampus costume.
Yeah, it is one of the worst Krampus costumes you'll ever see.
It's as it rolls out, right? At first I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that is some shit ass Krampus costume.
Yeah.
And she's getting taken away, and her husband's preparing to beat Krampus to death to save her when he starts to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then the wife just like walks back and she's like, oh, I'm sorry that you don't have any pills for that anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, that Krampus was supposed to look like shit because it's just Klaus dressed up. Look at that. They're in it together. He's actually Simon, her secret lover, and they watch the husband die, and then they call cut, and then they move into the next scene. And the next scene is like the big twist ending of this movie.
Yeah.
Where Simon is chaining her up to the bed, only to reveal that he's actually the real Krampus.
He is Krampus.
And he starts cackling, and she screams, and then they call cut.
And the actor playing Simon leaves.
The actor playing Simon leaves, and then all of a sudden, they start laying down plastic.
And then the actress is very confused.
She's a little confused. She didn't get any pink pages for this. Yeah. And they start to gag her mouth.
Yep. And the director, I believe, says, this is my favorite moment as the participant starts to realize what is actually happening. This isn't acting. This is the face of true fear.
Yeah.
And as an audience member, you're watching this and you're like, what the fuck is about to happen? And
then this guy walks in, pulls up a machete. And is it the director who's like, I'd really rather not watch this part?
No, that is the police person. Sorry, spoilers. The policeman interviewing the director.
Yeah, so I could. That was the one part where I was like, wait, so the director, whatever. So they cut, and the director's just like, it's very good for those types of movies, I think. Yeah. And you realize that you've just watched a snuff film.
Yep.
And then at the very end, the person who's been talking to them the whole time says, like, end of police interrogation, and it leaves you feeling weird.
Yeah, it is the twist ending is the complete antithesis of everything you have been watching up to that point.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's so frustrating. I'm glad that you were just watch it, because I tried to like explain to Scott and Brian why they should watch it. And I feel like anything that I try to say, they're going to go in just being like, well, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Because like it's like there's no way to sell it without selling the ending.
Exactly.
And like you just have to go in blind and enjoy the ride. But like, I really mean when I said that, I've seen a lot of short films going to film festivals, and like this is technically not a short film, it's an episode of a TV show, but this is the best horror short I have seen in a long fucking time.
Oh yeah.
It's
I told
so
you,
well paced.
I watched it not last year, so 2019. I watched it, and I haven't watched it since because it stuck, dude. It stuck with me. That ending, it's brutal. Like it's just, and it's not like nothing's shown. Like the camera cuts
It's
before
just the
anything
dread.
happens, but it's like, yeah, it's that dread. It's the complete opposite of all the campy shit that you've been watching up to that point, where you're like, this is like kind of really bad, but like intentionally bad and goofy. And then you like, as I was watching it this time, since I knew what the ending was, I was picking up on the little things of like, let's get the fucking kid out of here. It's like, like let's get this actor wants to get off set. Like,
Yeah. So I've said this before. Horror.
Yeah.
I'm not big on mixing horror during my Christmas time.
and that's what's funny, because I was revisiting some of our episodes, and I re-listened to our guest appearance on the Jersey Ghouls.
Yeah.
And when we got into the nihilistic ending of Better Watch Out,
Yeah.
and this was after I said, hey, we should do this. And I'm like, I don't know if Matt's going to like it, because this is fucking dark, especially for Christmas.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
This
good.
is like one where I would watch it at Christmas time.
Good.
Like I'd be like, I'll revisit this.
Yeah.
But this would be like,
You're not watching this Christmas Eve.
yeah, no, like Black Friday rolls in, you pop in a couple classics to get you in like Christmas mood, but then
Yeah.
you're like, all right, let's get in the like barely a Christmas movies for a little bit.
Yeah.
And like this would be pretty high in that list.
It is...
Fantastic pick.
It
Dylan.
is.
I
It's
love
just-
this.
It's just fantastic. And honestly, highly recommend checking out some of the other episodes. They're completely different. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're shot more like a
I
modern
might check
TV
it.
show.
My concern right now is that I'm going to forget to cancel Britbox. So there's a chance that I might not watch any of it, because I might literally be so afraid about that I'm going to like cancel it today while it's like fresh in my head, because I agreed to do my friend's podcast Xbox Game Passengers about 2 years ago, which
Yeah.
involved me signing up for Xbox Game Pass, and I have yet to figure out how to cancel that subscription. And I don't play video games. So
All right.
for 2 years I've been paying for a service that I don't need.
Two things. Number one, it's real easy to cancel BritBox through your Amazon account.
Okay, good.
Number two, it's $7 a month, dude. So like, if you forget it,
Listen, I can't say anything for sure right now because it's not public knowledge, but I'm very close to blowing up my life, and every dollar counts.
I get it. Yep. I think I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, so
but I completely get that.
That's a thing that I have to be mindful of.
But like, so I rewatching this right now. I rewatched it at an interesting time because I just went through. Are you familiar with a YouTuber by the name of Nyx Fears? It's a girl. Her name's May, and she just goes on and talks about horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what she just did was she tackled the iceberg of disturbing horror films. Have you seen that?
Oh,
It's a meme.
yes,
Yeah, it's like
yes,
the
yes, okay.
iceberg, and you start at like normie shit, and then you go down to like the
Sallow
real fucked up
120 days of-
and that's like in the middle. Like, I mean, it gets fucked towards
Yeah.
the bottom. So I just finished watching her series on those, and she gets into like the snuff film stuff and the pseudo snuff film stuff, and it's like, and then watching this, I'm like, dude, holy shit! Like, it's just, these things fucking exist. Like these things exist. You can watch people actually die on the internet.
Let's get dark. Why not? Let's get dark
Yeah,
for a second.
okay.
I've got a question for
Okay.
you, Dylan.
Yeah,
Have you,
yeah,
because I know that I have
yeah.
you as a kid
Mm-hmm.
looked up something out of curiosity because you're young and stupid,
Yeah.
and immediately regret it, and however many years later it is like still something that you can't like stop thinking about?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I was a frequent visitor of Rotten.com,
Yeah,
As a
that'll
kid,
that'll do
which
it to
was
you.
a poor choice on my end. And I think all horror fans went through this of what's going to be my line?
For me, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like, For me, it was when there was the beheading video that was released of that reporter.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, so I can just like type in this dude's name and I can see the video?
Yep.
And like I did it just out of curiosity, and like I still remember that video vividly.
Dude,
and it
same.
like still disturbs me. And that was like when I was like, that's a thing that I never want to see again. Good to know. Like it's
I mean, and there's plenty of that on the internet, and they all have like cheeky names.
Yeah.
Like the videos all have cheeky names, and I'm not gonna sit here and name any of them because I don't want anybody listening to this to go do the same thing that we did. But I think we all went through that phase, and I can't do it anymore. Like I can't watch like the disturbing shit.
I don't even know why I thought I could do it at like 15. You know what I mean? Like it was just like dumb, and I don't know. We've talked about this on Horror Movie Night before, just even with like when you're like a horny teenager and like the stupid stuff that you'll do just to see boobs on the internet. Yeah. And then immediately afterwards you're like, oh, I feel dirty. Like,
yeah. But that's like, oh my gosh, there's a certain comedian, I can't remember his name, but he has a bit about that where he's like, when you have that lust for something, whether it be sexual or a bloodlust, because I'm a firm believer that horror fans have a bloodlust.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that we have. And then like you get that fix, whether that be, sorry if my parents are listening, masturbating to porn. Yeah. And when you're done, just like you said, ugh. Like why did I do that? Why did I just watch that? Like not my proudest, Fap. Like
Well, speaking of which, Fappy Christmas, Dylan.
Fappy Christmas, Matt.
Whoa, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Have a happy holiday, have a great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.